Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Today and Mañana. I'm Michael. This is Nicholas subbing in for the experienced Xavier, but that's okay. We can work with Nicholas today.
Experienced Xavier.
Exactly. Well, he brings the gray hair. He brings the experience. You know, we're replacing it with the younger version. We'll see if it's a better version.
But I find that ironic because one of the things I always promised our guests is that Xavier doesn't know about the industry, so like he has this kind of childish, exuberance about asking questions and wanting to know.
Well, what Xavier's really good at is as the interviewer is like, or the interviewee is like describing their business. He's great at like finding these questions and whatnot, and just asking them, and they're all very good questions. So you have a big chair to fill today.
Well, we have a whole list of Alex-esque questions. So
yeah, I know, but the Xavier seat, that's where like the true like genius, observations come from.
I'm not going to do that. I'm going to monitor. So, please, if you have questions or comments, write them in because I'm going to be monitoring them today, and we'll make sure to relay all your engagement live.
So that's your job today?
And share, and subscribe. Yeah.
Okay. Well, as always, our show is presented by Emergent Financial Services, powered by Castle Hill Cider, Craddock Sirius Insurance, Yo Matias Realty, and Charlottesville Opera, as well as Forward Adelante, the premier Latino business networking group here in Charlottesville, Virginia. Okay, got that down. That's always the one thing that I'm always prepared for. It's like I got to do that little sponsor intro.
Yeah.
Alex does it so flawlessly now. I'm like, okay, I'm trying to work on it. I don't know whether it's flawless or not, but
it's pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Alex is a little smoother. You just need a little polish on that.
Exactly. Yeah, I know. Alex the experience has got him so good. He's like one of those people where if you ever watch like a sports game and they have to talk about all this stuff, and every once in a while it's like they have to do like some like romance movie, and it's like the new movie star and this person, and it's like you could kind of tell in their voice that it's like they really don't want to be talking about this because they have to like say the
Bob
taglines.
Costas describing Twilight, yeah.
Exactly, but they still put the effort in to make it sound like interesting. So.
Well, are you ready for our first guest?
I think let's go for it.
Go for it. All right.
Yeah. So we're very pleased excited to have Betsy Kraft from Betsy Kraft Design joining us today. Betsy, welcome.
Yeah. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
No, it's a pleasure. It's a pleasure. So, first off, tell us about Betsy Kraft Design.
Yeah. Betsy Kraft Design is me and a couple of really wonderful ladies that work with me. Small interior design firm based here in Charlottesville, but we've done some work in the surrounding areas and primarily focus on residential design and hospitality design.
And when you say interior designing, what exactly does that entail?
So there's a bit of a range. I mean, we will do everything from large-scale renovations and hard surface selections, like you're redoing your kitchen or your bathroom and need new floors, things like that. Also into the furnishings and accessories and home decor piece. Mm-hmm. So kind of from start to finish, we can help throughout the whole process.
And what got you into interior designing?
I have always been extremely passionate about design. I was totally the kid that was like moving furniture around my room and redecorating and driving my mom crazy. But I have always had a passion for it, always kind of known that it's what I wanted to do. My degree is in hospitality. I'm also very passionate about hospitality, and I worked in hotels and some really neat companies in the hospitality and the luxury hospitality world, where I was exposed to some great design and always kind of had a hand in helping with some very design-forward properties. And then a couple years ago, kind of decided the design's really what lights my fire and what I want to do, and just kind of decided to go after it. And yeah.
So can I ask a question? When you are thinking about doing a design, do your clients come to you and they say, okay, I want to remodel my kitchen or my living room or my family room? Mm-hmm. How does that process begin of them saying, I want to change, versus how you come up with how you want to redesign their rooms?
Yeah, well, I'll preface by saying I think at the heart of my brand and what I love so much is that I am so client focused and relationship focused. I mean, especially coming from a hospitality background and customer service, and it's really a relationship building experience. And I think that's important because it really allows us to tailor our experience to the needs of each individual client. So if somebody reaches out and says, oh, I'm redoing my bathroom, I have all these ideas, but I'm paralyzed with actually picking out tile or whatnot, then, it starts with a consultation, obviously, and we go in and really define the scope of the project and get a better understanding for what the needs are, and then work with them to kind of build a game plan and get organized and help, nail things out so it's not overwhelming to the client.
So if you go in there and you're trying to visualize how you want to kind of like redesign the room, how do you explain that kind of to your client? Are you trying to explain them what you're going to do? Do you do like sketches or drawings?
Yeah, it starts with the concept design. So, and working with the client and understanding more about what their specific tastes are and the aesthetic that they're going for, I will build a color palette and bring together like general patterns and a vibe for the space. I like to say I'm pretty intuitive, and especially with design, and can kind of read between the lines and what somebody's asking for to really understand what they are really asking for without saying it. And so I'll start with like a vibe and a mood board, and then once a client says, yes, I love that, that's exactly what was in my head, then we'll go into picking like specific selections.
And what do you mean by vibe?
I was
like a
ask what you
genre?
meant by
Yeah.
a mood board.
Both, I guess.
What?
Yeah, sorry, I guess that's like jargon that I'm, so used to. But a vibe to me is the overall feeling for the space. Like what emotions are evoked when you walk into the space? How do you want your space to feel? Do you want it to feel elevated and sophisticated, or do you want it to feel very cozy and casual? Do you want it somewhere in between those two? Do you want it to be more bohemian or more minimalist? There's all sorts of different styles. And then the mood board specifically, I will present with like actual textiles or tiles and colors and things so that they get a very visual representation of that vibe.
Wow, okay.
Yeah.
Neat. Okay, so which one comes first generally? Do you have to kind of like hone in on the vibe before you start exploring the more details, or can the detail like elevate a vibe, or well, not elevate, I guess, like elucidate a vibe? Yeah.
I think it kind of comes organically with throughout conversation, and I have a lengthy questionnaire that that helps me kind of narrow in on what a client's personal aesthetic is. And but yeah, it starts with really nailing down the overall feeling of the space, and then going into specific selections and furnishings and whatnot.
Neat. Okay.
Yeah.
And what's the most common area where people kind of want to redesign? I'm just trying to think of Charlottesville, kind of within the country. Do you get a lot of people saying, I want to kind of redesign my house to feel more country-like? Or do you get a lot of people saying, no, I want a more sophisticated, elegant style to my house? Which is more common, do you find?
Yeah, I think, we are in a very interesting part of the country where historically there is a lot of traditional design in the homes, and now with new homes we're seeing a lot of these I really hate, that's a strong word, but like the whole modern farmhouse thing, I think was a very big trend that has kind of gone by the wayside, but I think we still see a lot of those elements in like new build homes and things like that. So it's really taking some of those things that people are exposed to and that they might feel as though they gravitate towards and rolling it in, or the word's escaping me, but implementing those styles in a way that is really timeless. So I think there is a word kind of in the industry these days called transitional that I would say a lot of people are asking for. That could be defined as comfortable and welcoming, but still refined and sophisticated at the same time.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
But for me, I will say I am not a person who can follow trends. I don't believe in trends. I don't believe in designing for what is in style right now. I think it has to be really true to the person, and my goal is always to make somebody's home a reflection of their soul and what makes them feel good, and that's very individualized to the client.
Is it really different when you're working with a hospitality space versus a home?
In a sense, yes. The reason why is I think working in a hospitality setting allows you to push your boundaries a little bit more and be a little bit more funky and creative, and kind of flex those muscles a little bit more.
Because it's not a personal space that belongs to somebody else? Is that,
Well,
or?
That, and also it is in a way, for a specific person, a less permanent space.
Okay,
Like if
right.
I wanted to put a ridiculous hot pink and teal patterned wallpaper in a bathroom or
Right.
something that
Not my bathroom.
exactly. Like you wouldn't want that in your bathroom, but if you saw it in a hotel bathroom, there might be elements of that would inspire you and help you say like, wow, this is a really cool space, and maybe I can bring an element of this back into my home. And so I like to create spaces
It's like
that
fun
inspire.
for an hour, but not something you'd want for 20 years.
Exactly,
something like that.
exactly,
Okay, right,
kind of.
gotcha,
But they're
gotcha.
still, really fun and inspiring.
Okay,
yeah.
neat. Okay.
Yeah.
So that allows you to kind of broaden your creative juices a little more than when you're working with a more personal client, I would imagine.
Yes, in a way, yeah. I mean, not always, because there are definitely clients that, really every client, you need to kind of flex your creativity in some way. But I'd say the boldness aspect of it, you can be a little
Exactly.
bit more bold with your choices.
Well,
in a
just judging
hospitality
from
setting.
experience, when it comes to houses, people are like, I feel like sometimes people actually don't really know what they want.
No.
Like
Yeah.
when people are building a house, or whether they're designing a house or inside, outside, it's just like, they're like, oh, I want this, but I also want that, but then I want this, but I don't want that. It's like,
Yeah.
what exactly do you want? There's a famous movie that we always used to love watching called, it's an
Mr.
old movie.
Blandings, yeah.
Exactly. It's an old movie with Cary Grant and Myrna Loy called Mr. Blandings Builds His Dream House. It was
Okay.
made in like the 40s. And it's
I've watched it.
basically
Oh, it's hilarious. You'll love
it
it.
really is. It's one of those like great classic comedies of a man who's like, he's finally fed up with city life and wants to build his dream house in the country. And he goes, and it's like a total nightmare because nothing's ever right. And then the wife gets involved and she wants this, but he wants
Yeah.
that. And it's one of those like classic movies, and it's absolutely hilarious.
Yeah.
But every time I see that, I think about that. I'm like, I wonder how difficult it actually is to kind of find exactly what people want.
Yeah, well, no, I think going back to that, I think that's one of the really fun pieces of me is I can hear all of that and somehow translate it into like, okay, this is what they're actually saying
Right.
versus, what is in their mind. I can, kind of make sense of it all somehow.
Is there a difficulty going on, just bouncing off that question, about what you're saying, is there a difficulty because people will want different styles for different rooms and trying to make it consistent? Because I could imagine someone very easily being like, I want a farmhouse kitchen, but I want a more like country style living room or something like that.
I think that is where things like color and textures and all of those really come into play. And, I think also that's like discerning the overall vibe, as
Right,
we're
right, okay.
saying, and like where does the cohesion come in?
So the vibe should be consistent for the house, or are you always brought for a room, or like how does that?
Well,
guess
I
is
mean,
on-
I think there's a way that you can have a living room that might lean more mid-century and a kitchen that might lean a little bit more rustic, but you have elements of both. And that's one of my favorite things to do is like,
okay.
I really mix a lot of antiques with more contemporary pieces. And I think that's how you kind of create the overall space that makes it feel like cohesive and true to itself as you move throughout.
And when you said antiques, you mean like antique furniture and
Yeah, I mean, I'm a big believer in sourcing things secondhand, and whether that is traditional antiques from antique stores or even, some of the really local amazing local secondhand shops and whatnot that we have here. And I think you have to have old things in a space. Even if you're somebody that really loves everything new, what brings in character into a space are those pieces that are lived in and have a little life to them already.
And so if
yeah,
you're
Mama
trying
Earthy's
to
loving that.
Oh yeah. Our mother is a huge antique.
antique
Oh, yeah.
collector.
Oh yes,
I love that.
absolutely.
Love
Oh,
that.
yes.
So you're speaking her language right now.
Absolutely.
She's just,
See, I told
vibing.
you
Yeah.
guys. That's
Yeah.
why I have so many antiques now. But so I'm curious. So when
There's a balance.
you're incorporating antiques, do you provide like the services of getting the antiques for your clients, or is that something that they also have? Like I say, like okay, I want that antique, cupboard or whatnot.
Yeah. Well, so I have a few different service offerings. I'd say primarily I do full service, which would incorporate like doing all of the sourcing and finding the perfect.
So you'll get all the
pieces.
furniture and all.
Yeah,
Interesting.
everything, and install everything. So it's really a headache-free experience. But that style of service is not accessible to everybody. It is, definitely an investment, and so I really want to be able to work with everybody. I think the whole idea of hiring an interior designer is stigmatized as like something that only very wealthy people can do, and I don't buy into that belief at all. I think every single person, regardless, deserves to have a space that is their haven and their sanctuary, and that feels safe and welcoming. So I really have tried to stagger my service levels so that I can work with a range of people no matter what their budget is.
I
Yeah.
wanted to throw in one question too because I want to make sure we get this in before you have
Yeah.
to go. But I remember reading on your website there's a 6-hour one-day service.
Yeah.
Could you talk about that? Because I think that's particularly interesting because I don't think most people think of an interior designer just walking in for 6 hours.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, this is so fun. So I about a year ago started implementing or doing these. I call it a designer for a day package, and essentially it's a 6-hour consultation where I will come into your home and we just tackle whatever it is. So for some people, they have all this art that they don't know where it should go in their house, so it's just been in a closet, and we will actually sit there and hang pictures on the wall. I'm not hanging like heavy mirrors and things that should be left to professionals.
Right,
But it is a working day. I'm not afraid to get in there and move around furniture and. Or maybe it's somebody just has one room and they're like, I don't know what to do with this space, or I need help with paint colors or whatever. But it is a fun, very hands-on experience. And like I bring lunch, we make a day of it, and and then I will provide like very detailed notes and a good roadmap after our time together to really empower people to move forward with anything they need to on their own. But the designer for a day is a really fun service that I've been enjoying doing, and I do think that my clients who have done that would say the value that they have received from those days is pretty great. So
Wow, that's it. It just sounded really interesting. I'm glad you had a chance to unpack it.
Yeah. They're super fun. They're intense, but we really get a lot done and tackle a lot in that one day. So
That's so neat. Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
So Betsy, before we let you go, where can people find you?
Well, my website is Betsy Craft Design, craft with a K. .com, and or you can find me on Instagram at Betsy Craft Design, or all of the socials. And yeah, that's the
The
main
best way to
spot.
contact you, is it email or through like DM on Instagram?
Yes, you can email me. It's Betsy at BetsyCraftDesign.com, or there is a contact form on my website, BetsyCraftDesign.com, as well. And those are probably the best two avenues. I try really hard to be good at responding to DMs on Instagram, but I'm not always the best about it. So.
Well, perfect. Now we know exactly where to get
Yeah.
you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well,
Thank
Betsy,
you so
it's
much
been
for
it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for coming
Thank you all so much
on.
for having me. This was so fun.
No, thank
All
you.
right.
Thank you.
All right. So
a
that
lot
was
of
that was
fun.
really interesting.
No, yeah, it was interesting because like there's so much that we don't know.
Well, exactly. I mean, come on. What do we know about interior home design?
But I
Let's
love
be
how you
honest.
mentioned Mr. Blandings, because I remember there's that famous scene where with her at the paint. I don't know
Exactly,
if you remember.
yeah,
where
when
she's
she
going
was
through.
certain,
I
yeah.
want a cream white, not a harsh white. And then the painter
Exactly.
comes in. He's like, white, green, blue, red. That's what she wants.
Exactly.
And
Yeah,
so-
she's going through like, I want a cream white, I want a luscious green, a
but
soft
not a
blue.
harsh green, but
No,
not an olive green, and
exactly.
and there's like all these details, and the painter's just like
Exactly.
white
Well,
green.
yeah, but that's
Yeah.
well, that's why you need the feminine mind to design the interior of your home.
Yeah.
Exactly. If it was like one of us, we're like, okay, 2 chairs
Blue.
here, bar here.
Well, Elizabeth,
TV
my
here.
wife, she pulled out all sorts of paint colors for like the guest room, and she's like, "Which one do you like?" I'm like, "Those 3 in the middle," and there's like 5 options. I'm
Yeah,
like-
but no, you
I narrowed
went
it
to
down,
the darkness.
you know.
It was like black, dark
No,
blue.
I don't want that. The guest room. I don't want somebody coming like, who lives here, Nostradamus.
Exactly.
No,
Well, it's,
that's
yeah,
not
but
that.
you like the dark setting or whatnot.
Fair, yeah.
Exactly. Well, remember, it was also your lovely wife who recommended that you do the splash behind the counter. Or the
Oh,
kitchen
the
counter.
backsplash, yeah.
Backsplash, exactly, yes.
Yes.
So poor Nicholas was working very hard on that. I'm sure that was
She
definitely
loves
not your
it.
idea.
She
well,
loves it, but
you got to
that's
make the
all
wife
that
happy.
matters, yeah.
That's the idea.
Well, that's the key. That's
Exactly.
true. And
Well,
thank you for Jim Whitcower for watching. We're
Oh.
gonna make sure we just
yeah,
keep
you
that
gotta
shout-outs,
be spotting out who's
Yeah,
watching,
spotting.
who's commenting. All
Throw
right.
in some comments and questions when you can.
All right, perfect. So from one great guest to another, now we're excited to welcome Ben Kunkel from Skyline Home Inspections. Ben, how are you?
Wonderful. Glad to be here this morning.
Oh, well, wonderful to have you. So tell us about Skyline Home Inspections. How did you get involved in the home inspection business? How did the company get started? All that.
Yeah, so Skyline is a second-generation Charlottesville business. It was owned by Bill Brown. He was an awesome home inspector in the area. I'd done construction, since my high school years, working for various contractors and then doing small tasks on my own. Started my own company shortly after and did construction, service work, worked for other contractors, things like that. And then I was actually in a songwriting session. It's a pretty funny story. Shout out to Mike Davis. He's a good buddy of mine, a realtor in town as well. But I had actually just had an accident on a house I was building and broke my face.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, no, it's all good.
Yeah.
It's all good.
Right. Well,
That's-
broke your face. Like in
Yeah,
what
yeah.
way?
So I slipped and fell through the floor system, fractured my orbital. The only thing you can see is just the scar in my eyebrow.
Oh, okay.
So had just kind of went through that and was talking to Mike, and I was like, man, I think maybe I want to get into property inspection. I said, do you know anybody I could do ride-alongs with, or anybody that I could
wow.
connect with to, because it's a license requirement. You have to
Right.
do the ride-alongs. And it's actually quite a barrier to entry because nobody's trying to just train their competition, right? So it's a little bit of a weird thing. Typically, you have to sign non-competes and things like that, work
Yeah.
for other people. And I was riding with Mike, we were talking about it, and he was like, hey man, Bill Brown, you need to get in touch with him. He gave me his number, I called him, we connected within the next couple days, and then I began an apprenticeship with him. He's a retired Marine, he had owned the company and was actually
Wow.
fully retiring. And so the timing was perfect. I was in a position to receive something like that, and was really looking to step on the gas with, some of my business endeavors anyways. And the rest is history.
Wow.
Yeah, and that was just under 3 years ago, 2.5 years ago. So apprenticed, went through the whole licensure process, was still doing construction at the time, and then fully took the company over and have been doing it ever since.
Wow, that's so neat.
So what does Skyline Home Inspection do?
So we are an environmental testing and property inspection solution. So we're a diagnostic firm for a home. Our mission is to empower clients and homeowners with the right information, transparency about a transaction so that everyone can make the right choices, and that's really our main goal. That's our service that we offer. And we do it through a variety of, environmental testing, residential and commercial property inspection solutions, things of that nature. But in more detail, for example, environmental testing, indoor air quality, mold and allergen. We can do mold swabs, radon testing, complete water analysis and or FHA, VA. So what are you breathing? Is there radon? How's your water? And then we do a lot of real estate transactions. So people buying and selling any type of dwelling,
Right.
we inspect a lot of those. And we also do a lot of homeowner work. So, the 4-year homeowner inspection has been really valuable for a lot of people. So yeah, we're just running around dealing information based on the standards.
So
of
you
practice.
so you expect both houses that people are trying to buy and new houses as well? Do you?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Okay.
So anytime a dwelling is transferred, whether it be a new construction build, we're certified. We're NRS, New Residential Structure certified, pre-drywall certified. So we can do inspections that lead people from having your home framed, looking at it from an X-ray perspective, making sure all the components are properly in place, the final inspection when the builder's done before you move in, and then the 11-month builder warranty. So that's the new construction phase inspection package. But yeah, really anytime a dwelling is transferred. And surprisingly enough, diligent, long-standing homeowners that are proud of their home, when you go 4, 5, 6 years without an inspection, there are things that can creep up that you wouldn't necessarily know. There's a lot of variety in the value of the inspection and how we offer it. But I think having a inspection that's based on the standards of practices,
Right.
that is a clear legal document and a template for success as a homeowner, versus being someone that's purchasing a property and just spending that extra $400 or $500 to ensure that there's transparency about the systems, the function of the systems, everything that could go into the quality of your life, owning the home going forward, impact the budget of the deal, things of that nature. So it's quite a spectrum, but the same mission, at the center of it.
And can I ask you a question? So what are the most common problems you encounter in houses, whether they're houses that are being transferred, like an old house that someone's buying or a new house? Do you find any common problems people might overlook?
Yeah, absolutely. So building envelope failures are the first one. So siding, flashing, trim.
Okay.
That's number one, right? And so from a building science perspective, understanding the way that your home works as a system and understanding that your exterior building envelope is the system that is specifically designed to shed water and keep moisture away from places it's not supposed to be. Right. Inevitably, everyone knows moisture is the number one destroyer. So I would say number one is building envelope failures. Number two would be drainage. So foundation drainage, grading, improper gutters terminating at the downspout connector being disconnected, a renter's in a place 5 years, water pours in the corner of the foundation, there's efflorescence, moisture, mold in the crawl space.
Right.
Now this has turned into something it didn't need to be.
And how would you discover that? Do you crawl underneath the house?
Oh, yes.
Wow.
Oh, dude, we take it, it's a very serious thing, to us, right? If someone, the way that we operate it, we have the standards of practice set by the state and our training company, Internachi. And it's a black and white way to make sure you're fulfilling your minimum requirements. But the minimum is not sufficient, so we really pride ourselves on getting a look at every square inch of the home and informing someone with a legal document to back it up, what they're getting into, what that could mean. And yes, that means a lot of crawl spaces, a lot of attics, a lot of quite unimaginable places, really.
Yeah, I can imagine. Actually, I don't want to imagine. I was about to say I can imagine. No, I don't want to imagine.
So I have a question for you, because I'm thinking first-time home buyers watching this right now, and there's who contacts you? How do they get you involved? Is it through their realtor? Do they get you on their own? How does that work so that somebody can get this service?
It's about half and half. So the way that we've set the company up, and I've completely rebuilt the company since I purchased it.
Okay.
Bill had a great thing going. It was amazing to learn from a traditional, old school inspector. There was a lot that had to change. With that being said, we found that the website has been really efficient. Booking online is nice with that. We just launched a new website. We have office staff that answers the phones 7 days a week, so you can call. You'll always get someone for customer service. You can always email us. It's normally ends up being email or a call to the call center.
Okay.
I answer all the calls I can. If not, we'll get back to you, or just book the appointment based on what you need at that time. And it's about half and half. It's about half the time it's people that just are a homeowner, or they think their roof's leaking, and they find us on Google or through some type of non-real estate related referral. And then about half the time it is an agent that has used us and feels confident with what we do and how we represent them, because it's quite an asset really to an agent to have a company that does follow the standards of practice, that does really care, like really care. And so we find that we get quite a few referrals that way.
Well, I will shout out to you just for that too, because part of the reason you're on the show is because I've heard good things about Skyline Home Inspections from realtors who have worked with you.
Well, thank you.
About your quality. So
I appreciate it.
That's why I reached out just so that our audience knows, because I know we talked about it beforehand, but that's important for everyone to know that I heard good things about your reputation. That's why we wanted to make sure that you had a chance to present to our audience.
Yeah, no, it means a lot. It really does. And one thing that I think the takeaway is, with a business it's like building a race bike, right? It's like building a fast car. It's like building something that needs trial and error and perfection. And what I had to do was put myself in the shoes of the clients, right? I said, because it's quite clear who we serve. And if you put yourself in those shoes, what does that person need from you in that role? And for us, that means clear communication from the start. So if you look us up on Google and you dial our phone number, me personally or one of our office staff will answer. We're equipped to handle all the customer service. And furthermore too, the process of the inspection, we always do a 20-minute follow-up call after inspections. Okay. We have color-coded reports. We just really take care of people in a way that I think maybe others overlook. It's something we emphasize because it's truly communication. Right. We go out and gather facts, and then we spend the rest of the process diligently performing those tasks, fulfilling report deadlines, environmental testing deadlines, providing context, right? And sometimes that means, speaking with a variety of contractors and local building officials and things that, just really getting our hands dirty to help solve problems. That's what it's all about. And believe me, it is a problem to not know that you have a leaking cast iron drainage line in your $1 million home. So, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no. So I guess, and that's interesting because I know we had a period, especially here in Charlottesville and around the country, where people were waiving inspections to buy houses. Has there been any, has there been a fallout from that you've experienced personally, or that has, at least nationwide, has been going around?
Well, yes. The short answer is yes, because anytime you make decisions, especially decisions that require a lot of money typically, and you don't have all the facts or knowledge that would help you make that decision, inevitably things are going to go sideways in some way. Right. But it doesn't mean your house is going to fall down, or it doesn't mean that you don't have the money to pay for the mold that wasn't seen in the attic. It's a much more turbulent way to go through the home buying or home ownership experience. Going in and it's fractional for what it costs. To hire us to come inspect your home, the value that we're going to provide from on-site verbal cues and verbal things that information and context we'll share that we can't put on the report for legal reasons. Not violating any rules or anything, but we pour into our clients in a way that we're not afraid. We're not, it could get me in trouble. Well, yes, okay, but it's not really important. You can tell them this verbally and provide context, Yeah. So it's just one of those things that, it's very personable. It's a very one-on-one committing. You're in a miniature relationship with that person for a 3-day period, where you're, but to answer the question about the fallout from not doing inspections, I think that buying overpriced homes without home inspections was a bad idea. However, I always encourage people to just be patient and to be graceful, because it's a spectrum. We came from caves. There's the $1 million penthouse suite, turnkey, okay? And all of these years we've survived. It's about, what is your budget? It's about, what does it mean for you to live comfortably? Let's make sure you don't have any surprises, because if you're short on money and you have a leak that happens and you're not properly equipped, the way that will affect your quality of life is drastic.
Yeah.
And the way that will spin off into the way you treat your wife in the morning, and what mood you go to work in, and you're stressed because you don't have this money and you got to try to get this loan to fix this line. And so we've seen some of that, but I think that I think for the most part, people are just working with what they have and doing what they can with the current market, because while the answer is yes, it's a bad idea, we also try to help people out as much as we can. We do the walk and talk consultation as well as the move-in inspection. So we understand, hey man, you gotta have a place to live, and if you have to waive it to get home, it's better than being homeless.
Right.
But we just want to drive home the importance of going through that fact-finding process just as soon as you can, in whatever capacity you can financially do it, whether that be a walk and talk that's an hour, $195. It has no report, it's just something that we go and identify key issues, or whether it's the full residential inspection with the Healthy Home Bundle. Just doing what you can with what you have. And hey, if you're out there and you did have to buy a home and you waived the inspection and something went wrong, just be graceful, because you're not the only one and you had to do what you had to do. So that's the mindset we have on it.
I appreciate that.
So I have a quick small business question. So how was it like for you to take that jump from working to someone to kind of owning your own business?
It was really cool. And luckily, my personality is somewhat naturally geared for it. So it was a natural transition. But I was tackling small tasks on my own anyways, as a sole proprietor, when I was younger. And then making the step into the first couple bigger projects for the Class A contractor that I know and have worked with and done things for. And it was baby steps. So it wasn't like this black and white thing where overnight I had to assume all these responsibilities. I had slowly dipped my toe in, and then the apprenticeship is really what helped me. I mean, to be with Bill every day, watching him run the business, watching him do reports, learning the software, learning the back end. And it's really about the context I gained to then be able to sit down at the drawing board and say, well, what do our clients need? What is someone in this position, what do they need? And the small business side of it was really just about gathering skills. It's reflection and gathering skills. I mean, accounting, for example, was a shortfall of mine. I'm not a numbers guy.
Yeah.
I've never had that inclination, but it's, hey, we're trying to build this thing. We need to understand this. So how are we going to fix it? And that's how we've approached this business, and just solving any problem or hiccup that would be in that client experience. So it's been fun. It's been, it promotes a lot of personal growth as well, because when you're the face of your business, and we're a family-owned business, we take what we do really seriously, and I just think I'm grateful for it in the ways that it's forced me to grow. So it's been a lot of fun. It's never a dull moment.
No. Any small business entrepreneur will tell you the same thing. It's never, ever, ever a dull moment.
Well, I love
that's what we love.
Alex, the host, usually asks the plunge question, like what made you
when'd
take
you
the plunge?
yeah.
And everyone always says, well, it was a plunge. Like it's a big step.
It is, and I'm really it's really important for me to operate in a way that's sustainable, for one, and that reflects the quality that we expect from ourselves. And that was the plunge. Was, okay, now we have too many clients. How can we build these systems as fast as possible and just roll this out and keep up with what we have? And we're on the other side of that now, but that was the metaphorical plunge for us, was the pure workload and the realization that, okay, there's a lot we don't know. Let's go get these skills. Let's get this training. Let's really invest in what we're doing. And we're 2 years into that, and it's really starting to show now. We had a record month in April, actually.
Oh, congratulations!
But it's crazy. Like, the market's down however much, but it's like April was our record month, and I think it's starting to show that we care about what we do, and we've put a lot of thought into the way our clients feel and the way agents feel when they're interacting with us. I mean, it's an important thing that business owners from the small business perspective have thought through what it's like to be a customer. Like, what would it be like to be your client? How would you feel? And I think as long as any business owner can keep that mindset and stay humble and apply an aggressive work ethic to solving their customers' problems, I think, you'll be okay. That's how we've approached
That's
it.
always the key, I feel like, for small businesses. You always, if you're providing a service, you have to think, if I was a client, what would I want?
Right.
And then once you translate that into your business, I think that's often how people find success.
Yeah, and one of the biggest ways that we did that, if you think about real estate and the property inspection world as a pie chart, there's a sliver of that pie chart that says human error and concealment. It's an inevitable factor that we all deal with. The state mandates that they're visual-only inspections, so truly, we can only inspect what we can see. There's a lot that's under the wall. There's a lot that's hidden. There's a lot that we can't get to. You just can't.
Yeah.
So when we saw, there's a lot of people that will just kind of set money back and prepare for a rainy day when something happened, it wasn't their fault, they got missed or whatever, and that didn't sit right with us, so we implemented what we call the full package of warranties. So we have, with every inspection, we have every appliance or electrical system in the home is put on a lifetime recall check fire safety database. So if it has ever been recalled, or if it ever does get recalled for life, they'll be notified. It'll be replaced for free. 5-year platinum roof leak guarantee, 1 year $100,000 structural, a mold safe policy, radon safe policy, the sewer, the main lateral, there's a policy in place for that. There's a lot that we've put into that experience for the client where we've filled that void. So I don't know, I've looked around a little bit, but I'm not sure if anyone else has implemented something like that. But for us in that client experience, we had felt confident about our systems, getting everybody through, doing great inspections, getting reports out, everything was great. But it's like, well, what about this sliver of the pie chart? Like, what can we do about that?
Right.
And we just chose to take that step where we fill that void, and there's literally protection with our inspection that comes for life, for 5 years, for 1 year, and in a variety of ways that we just felt like it placed our customers in a position to win and to protect them, even though it's like not our fault. It's like,
Right.
You're still in this position, and we realized that. So I think that was, in my opinion, that was the biggest way we took that approach and implemented it to Skyline.
That's phenomenal. Wow.
Wow, yeah, that is great. Yeah, no, because that reminds me, just in our business, same thing, like what we do at risk management, like things that are outside our control, how do you protect them? It's really great that you can get into a space and offer that rather than just be, well, I can only see what I can see and that's it.
Right?
Yeah.
What good is that?
No.
Honestly,
but it does provide value on the first side. It's just that it's that last missing piece. How do you cover that, right? That's so important.
and if you, it's deep reflection and understanding of the process, and we've done hundreds, I don't know, 500-600 inspections, and me personally, and
Yeah.
so, and a lot more with Bill. And so it's like, it's one of those things where at a certain point, if you're actually committed to the game and you're committed to what can we do for our clients, how can we put them in a position to win, that had to be part of the plan for us. And so, and like I said, we're still on the hunt, so I'm sure things will pop up. We're going to keep adding things and keep revising and making sure we're meeting those needs. But yeah, it's a really fun business. But
So, and let me just throw this question that came to mind. So, looking forward 5 to 10 years when we're talking about home inspection, is there something you foresee being an integral piece that's not present now, whether it be solar
I
or
do.
smart homing or?
I do.
Okay.
And this is actually something that we are about to get a certification in. So like EMF and Wi-Fi exposure,
Okay.
that is something that some people have sensitivities to. There are a variety of inspections where you can monitor one's exposure to the harmful microwave rays. For example, like a lot of people have problems with the new smart boxes that are being put on their service entrances. They're Bluetooth and wireless.
Okay.
Some people feel that that's a hazard and they want to have inspections that will give in detail, tell them how their home is operating on an energetic level.
Interesting.
Yeah, and so that's something that we're going to get into. But I think property inspection itself, and it's like, do you worry about AI? It's like, are there going to be drones doing property inspections? And I don't think that there's any way for the human element to be replaced in that transaction.
Right.
But also, I think property inspection itself is going to evolve over the next 5 to 10 years because I think our housing needs are going to evolve. I mean, if you look at what zoning changes are being proposed regardless of your opinion, it's going to change the way these properties function. It's going to change the way that Charlottesville as a city functions in some ways, if you look down the line. And I just think that, always being open-minded and aware, and that's why we're so big on continuing education. I mean, I'm part of VERI, the Virginia Area Real Estate Inspectors. They're a great group of guys. They've really helped keep us up to date on a lot of stuff. InterNACHI, and always just big on continuing education and practices. So I don't think it's going to be, in my opinion, astronomical the way it happens, because people need a dwelling to live in, and as long as it is not cost prohibitive or just impractical to have that space assessed, then I think it'll look very similar.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great answer.
So do you all want to hear a story that I was hoping to tell when I...
Sure, please.
Sure,
Go ahead.
absolutely.
I
Yeah.
was hoping that you were going to ask me what the craziest thing I've seen on a home inspection was.
What's the craziest thing you've ever seen?
No, I did not think about that, but it's a good idea.
Yeah, well, it's and this actually happened with Mike as well. Shout out to Mike. We love Mike. He's done a lot for us, me personally, and just in business. And so this makes me smile every time I think of it. But we were doing this beautiful house. We were inspecting it, and I was training an employee at the time that he was with me. And we go into the crawl space. It was like a 7-acre property, and it's a beautiful open timber framed home and right on the river. And we were in the crawl space, and Jared, the guy I was training, he's like, "Hey man, there's a snake up there." And I was like, "Okay, no big deal." It was a beautiful home. I wasn't worried that there was any kind of big issue. Well, we keep going through the crawl space, and I made my way back around, and we got right to the exit door, and right beside my head to the left, there was another snake. It was a big one. Like, these are mature, thick, well-fed black snakes. And so we put it in the report. We were like, okay, well, there's snakes. You probably want to have those 2 snakes, caught, relocated, whatever. And the particular homeowner was pretty nervous about snakes. Like, I think she was actually afraid of snakes, And so we made sure to, hey, these are here. You want to get these dealt with. We find out later there was like 50 snakes in the house. There were snakes in the HVAC ducts. There were snakes in the walls. There were in the attic, in all the insulation, everywhere. There were baby snakes. I mean, there were snakes all through this house. And so it's bizarre that you can be in a property, a beautiful home, and you're surrounded by snakes. They're just infested in the whole house.
That is
So
insane.
while you and Jared were probably in the crawl space, there was probably like 20 snakes just hovering right above you.
Absolutely. There was a colony. I don't even know what do you call snakes? A pack of snakes? A colony of snakes?
I don't know. It sounds like they were colonizing the house, so why
They
not?
owned it.
Yeah.
They ran it.
Were they dangerous?
No,
Because
they
the
were
rat
black
snakes.
snakes.
They were
they
rat
just
snakes,
all
black
the
or
black
rat,
snakes. Okay, there wasn't like a sort of like.
It was all the black snakes on that block. Yes.
Okay, all the black snakes
the
on the
whole
block,
the whole
okay.
perimeter, the whole cul-de-sac. They were in that house. Like, it was, but that was just really funny because the chances of that. We just saw 2 snakes and we were like, what in the world? But to find out later that there was such an infestation.
And how did they find out later? Like,
Well, they went to catch the 2 that we saw, and they caught 50, or they found 50, or they found.
wow.
It was then discovered that there was a serious issue.
Well, but that also highlights how important it is just to have the inspection in the first place, because that small detail somebody could have said it's just a snake. It's not
Absolutely.
part of the house, and then to find out that there's 50 snakes in your house. Now, is that something you encounter often? Snakes? Maybe not to that degree, but
Not to this degree. It is though,
Yeah, okay.
especially warm weather. Like I was getting in a crawl space the other day. There's a little baby copperhead, which that's not as
No.
good. But
no, not at all.
yeah, and the other thing too is like I went in this crawl space in downtown Charlottesville. The house was beautiful. Everything was good. There was no furnace. There was nothing under this home. But all of the joists were fired. Like they had been lit on fire. Like the joists were this big. They were tiny. They were charcoal. The whole floor system was just burnt. So it's that type of stuff where it's different every day,
Yeah.
and it's always exciting.
So you always got an adventure basically every time you're inspecting a house.
Oh, absolutely. Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Yeah.
Every time, and there's always something new. I'm convinced I've seen every possible proper and improper installation way for flashing. If any way that you could potentially configure flashing to try to make it fill that role, I've seen almost every configuration of that, good and bad. So
So-
yeah.
So we're just gonna have to have you back on again in
And
like
for-
a few months. This way we can hear another story,
Another
a new
story,
story.
It might not take that long. But yeah.
Yeah, you'll be back tomorrow. Like, hey guys,
Exactly.
you
Next
gotta
week,
come
it's
on
like,
next
yeah,
week.
I got a great story to tell. Come
Yeah.
back on next week.
Yeah, exactly.
But Ben, before we let you go, where can people find you?
So, just if you Google us, Skyline Home Inspections, our new website is launched, I believe. If it's not launched now, it's like the next day or two. So that'll be www.skyline-homeinspections.com. And then always just give us a ring. We 540-205-6223. Me or one of our office staff will answer. So, yeah, just get in touch. We'll take care of you and make sure the needs are met.
Make sure there's no snakes in
Yeah.
your
No
house.
cookies,
Yeah.
no
You don't want to
colony,
open up
yeah.
a cupboard one day and see snakes. Like, honey, we got a problem.
Yeah. I'm gonna smile for like literally every time I think about that. Forever.
Yeah,
Just
I know.
So bizarre.
Yeah, but now I'm gonna freak out if I
Yeah.
see a snake near our house. Now I'm gonna get Ben on the phone now.
Get Ben.
Yeah.
Well, Ben,
Thank
it's
you
been
so
so
much
much
for
fun.
coming,
Thank
Ben.
you.
That was
Thank you so
great.
much for coming
Thank y'all
on.
for having me.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Wow,
that was great.
That was interesting. The snake story really kind of got to me a little bit, though.
Well, what's interesting too is that like as financial planners, we don't have any craziest stories. Like our craziest story is like, wow, somebody was like fully invested in Tesla or something like that.
Yeah,
Like,
but that would be a
that's-
lucky one for him.
Well, if they got in at the right time,
Yeah,
that
but-
is right. But it's just yeah. It's
Yeah,
a lot.
but it's funny because hearing Ben talk, it really emphasizes the importance of like before you're buying a home, if you're living in definitely in an older home, you might want to get that inspected because you never know exactly what's kind of
You
going
just-
on in your house.
you
It's
just
so
don't,
big.
right?
There's just so much going on.
Yeah. A shout out to Christina Monfalcone for watching, for Elizabeth Irby for watching, Matthias Yon, thank you for tuning in. And actually, Matthias has a comment. Ben is perhaps the most thorough inspector in the area. So he's getting a lot of props
Wow.
from Matthias Yon. And again, Matthias was the one, I think he doesn't mind me saying this, he was the one who turned me on to Skyline Home Inspections and why I reached out to them because he was very impressed with Ben and that and how thorough they are, right? That's the thoroughness is obviously something that as a realtor Matthias is really looking for because he doesn't want to. I mean, because in reality, like agents keep. Yeah, if you're an agent watching too, think about that because if you're vouching for someone, you're trying to get some like the best value for your client. You don't want to necessarily. Well, I was going to use a phrase I can't use on the air, but you don't want to necessarily like. Half butt it.
Okay, I understand. Yeah, I think our
everyone else knows what I'm saying, but like, okay, but
You
like,
want to
for
put
the
in less
kids,
effort than
you don't want to.
necessary,
Yes,
yeah.
you don't want somebody who's going to put in less effort, and then there's major problems on the line. You really want highest quality if you're going to deliver that experience to your clients.
Absolutely. So I know there's some things you wanted to talk about. There's
Well,
some big
there's-
surprise I've been waiting for the show. Let's get
for the
to it.
first time in Today Mañana history, there is a giveaway that I believe has already gone live. If this schedule-wise works. So today, and I'm gonna go check Instagram now. Today Mañana is offering $700 worth of free giveaways. All you have to do, in typical giveaway fashion, is follow the accounts listed. That includes our sponsors and everyone who is participating and contributing, and like the post and tag 2 friends. And with that, you'll be getting, and let me go get the full list.
So again,
I
so
don't-
you have to go to the Today Mañana
Instagram.
page.
Go to the Today Mañana Instagram. Follow the accounts that are listed. They're all. It's perfectly all kind of organized for your convenience. Tag 2 friends in the comments and like the post. That gives you 1 entry so that you could win possibly. And here's the rundown. You ready for it?
Okay, let's get the rundown. Come on.
2 free pizzas and 2 drinks by Popito's Pizza.
Ooh.
2 10-inch pizzas. A summer bouquet from Flower Girl Seville, valued at $50. A bag of coffee and 2 cafes from Taiga Specialty Coffee. So if you remember a couple weeks back, we had Taiga,
Yes.
we had Tanya Fias Castro
Yes,
on. talking about
I know. We had her coffee at our house. It was delicious.
Oh,
Yes.
it's amazing. I bought another bag when I went this weekend, yeah. $50 gift card courtesy of Matthias Young Realty to Auto Seville, to Turkish street food down on Water Street. A $50 gift card courtesy Matthias Young Realty to Guajiros. So you get your cafe con leche from there too, who they also serve Tiger coffee. So you're getting a lot of coffee coffee if you win, I guess. A $100 gift card to a participating downtown mall business thanks to Friends of Seaville Downtown Mall. So that's our good friend Greer from Friends of Seaville. And, there's two more. 2 $65 tickets to Charlottesville Opera's production of Guys and Dolls.
Wow.
It's flexible for the date. You just have to go. If whoever wins can just reach out to today, we'll reach out to you, and the voucher will work for any of the dates. You just got to go pick up the tickets from the Paramount box office. And last but not least, and of the greatest value is 2 VIP tickets to Castle Hill Cider's 231 Fest.
Two VIP.
There are 2
Wow.
VIP tickets. So if you win, you and your
Special someone.
yes, and your special whoever, a friend, you could just pick a random person, I guess. If you're alone, you could just take Judah, and Judah will go as a VIP to Castle Hill Cider. So that is all available right now and the VIP. Ooh, did I write this down? The VIP tickets will get you early festival entry at 11 a.m. A festival swag bag valued at $200+. Outdoor VIP tent featuring glass blowing by Katie Raz and a cocktail show with Mederio Tassanerio from the Bebedero. From the Bebedero, yes.
Bebedero.
Sorry. Air-conditioned loft lounge. There's a lot here. I just got to go through it. A curated experience by Marigold Keswick by Jean Georges. So if everyone remembers at Keswick Hall, there is a satellite restaurant from Marigold, which is a Michelin star restaurant in New York run by Jean Georges, the famous chef. You're going to get a curated experience from them, from Marigold Keswick. A private bathroom and sweeping property views, probably from the loft. A grazing table sponsored by Kroger. And soft seating area near the festival stage, first come, first serve. And just so that everyone does know, the proceeds from the 231 Fest go to the Blue Ridge Area Food Bank. So a lot of this is for a great cause. So if you don't win, you should definitely still absolutely get tickets and go. But definitely enter the giveaway because you could win 2 VIP tickets.
That's a huge giveaway. Wow.
Well, what I love too about the giveaway is that there's a giveaway within the giveaway because the VIP tickets from Castle Hill just add on.
I know, it's
so
like
much
a
more.
entire list. Xavier was reading out yesterday. Last week, not yesterday. Last week.
Yeah,
he was reading out the entire
so
list.
much. Yeah. And I mean, the other thing about even just the Charlottesville Opera, they were so generous with their tickets. They're giving the top tier tickets. You're not winning like cheap seats. You're winning the $65 tickets,
that's the
not
Guys
the
and
$25.
Dolls.
That's to see Guys and Dolls. It's the first time ever they're doing this production of Guys and Dolls. They have really talented dancers that they're pulling from around the world, and it's being choreographed by Casey Turner, who's a local choreographer. So there's just a lot here. So make sure you go to Today Mañana's Instagram.
Yes, you got to enter the giveaway. You have to go to Instagram. Give everyone the rundown again because I already forgot it.
Okay. So I'll go down instead of up this time. 2 VIP tickets to Castle Hill Cider's 231 Fest. 2 $65 tickets to Charlottesville Opera's Guys and Dolls. $100 gift card to a participating downtown mall business, thanks to Friends of Seaville. And you have to visit their website to see which businesses, but there's a whole list of businesses on the downtown mall that will take that gift card. $50 gift card courtesy of Matias Jan Realty to both Guajiro Seaville and Auto Turkish Street Food, a bag of coffee and 2 cafes from Taiga Specialty Coffee, a summer bouquet from Flower Girl Seaville, and 2 10-inch pizzas and 2 drinks from Polpito's Pizza.
Wow. And you have to go to the Instagram.
You go to Instagram. I'm going to make sure that it's up as soon as the show's over. And yes, go to Instagram. You have to like the post, follow the accounts, and tag 2 friends. And I will be in the comments. And I will be watching so that everyone
will
actually...
be watching.
I will definitely, yeah. So it's set to go live at 10:30 today.
And
so
when
with
does
15
it,
minutes.
and when does it end?
It ends, so the drawing will be done live on
So
Today
that's when it
Mañana.
ends.
That will be at June 8th will be when the giveaway ends because
Okay.
we on live on Today Mañana we will be drawing the winner from probably a fishbowl. But Michael and I will be monitoring to make sure that everyone actually you have to follow the instructions.
I'm not on
Yeah.
Instagram.
Yeah.
You monitor. You're a monitor.
You're going to help me count out the
I'll help you pick out the fishbowl.
the fishbowl. Well, we
I'll
have
shake
Castle Hill and Seaville Opera are coming on
There we
that
are.
day, so we're going to see who wants to draw the
Draw
winner.
from the
If
fishbowl.
Josephine's here, she'll probably want to do it. We'll see. But
we'll see.
we'll see who gets to
We'll see.
draw the winner. But
And definitely this way people know the rundown of the events is the 231 Fest is coming
It's
very
June
soon.
10th.
It's June 10th. And then right after that, June 23rd, 24th, and 25th is Guys and Dolls, correct?
Guys and Dolls, and then after that we have for the Charlottesville Opera. There's going to be July 1st, the festival at the Ting Pavilion. It's a free
Okay.
event. Just make sure that you basically
And what
can
is
go.
the festival?
So it's and Leanne has been a little bit a little sneaky with this it's a festival that includes all sorts of different types of music that they're going to include. They're going to throw some opera. They're going to go through some local artists. She's really putting together a huge lineup. So if you have any taste in music, doesn't matter at all. You should probably there's going to be somebody playing your music. It's going to be a huge thing at the Ting Pavilion. It's entirely free. So make sure
Wow.
that it's on your schedule because it's coming up. And then July 14th and 16th, there will be Tosca at the Paramount Theater. You can be sure to see me there at least one of those.
One of those, maybe both. We'll
Because
see.
maybe we'll see. I mean,
Maybe both.
I can't promise, but you know how I love Puccini. So
Yeah, Nick's the opera guy. He's the opera guy.
especially Puccini. As soon as they announced it was going to be a Puccini opera, I was like, I'm sold. Yeah, it doesn't matter. Anything he wrote is just pure gold. So a lot of things coming up. Next week, our guests
Next
will
week,
be
yes, we're going to have Victoria Proscia from Franchise Associate at House of Color Charlottesville. Then we're going to have Katie Cox from Supporting Local Civil, and then we're going to have Matthias Yon from Matthias Yon
Matthias is
Realtor.
coming back.
Our friend
Yeah.
Matthias, yeah. So, wow. Great show, Nick.
Oh, no,
Great show.
Great. Well, thanks
had-
to our guests.
Yeah, Betsy,
and Ben.
and Ben were excellent. We learned a lot about interior home design, and then especially the importance of getting your house inspected, because you don't want a colony of snakes. It's some
colony of
colony of snakes. That story, I'm telling you, that's
it's
if I
scared you
see a
probably.
snake, within the next week, there's going to be a little bit of a freak
You're
out.
going to
I'm
be
not a
like,
snake guy.
where are they? You're going to be
Well,
in the
yeah,
schoolhouse
suddenly I'm going to
and-
be like, wait a second, what's going on here? But it was a great show. Don't forget to check out the Today Manana page. I'm sure Nick's going to be putting the post up very soon.
Well, it's
and
10 minutes now. It's going to go live.
In 10
Sorry, I made a
minutes,
mistake.
okay.
It's 10 minutes from now.
10 minutes from now. So you can do the countdown. You could put a little timer on
Yeah,
your
we'll
phone. 10
count
minutes.
down. Yeah.
Yes. But anyway, as always, thank you so much to, again, our guests, Betsy and Ben. Thank you to Nick for taking over for Xavier and doing
Well, thank
such a
you for
wonderful
taking
job.
over for Alex and doing a great job.
I know. Where is Alex? He's still not
don't
back.
know.
I mean,
Yeah, I
when's he
think
coming
he's
back? Is he ever coming back, this
At
guy? I
an
don't know.
EDM festival in Bavaria.
I know. This is like 3 weeks now. He hasn't been here. What's going on?
That's true, yeah.
3
Well,
weeks,
he better be. He's coming
I
on
know.
next week.
Everyone's like, "Where's Alex?" He's got to come back eventually. I
have
don't know.
not
Unless he
seen-
likes Bavaria.
To be
a
fair,
lot.
I see more
He
Where's
loves
Xavier.
sausages, so
That's
he
true.
might
I
not
would
come
say I
back.
see more Where's Xavier comments and a lot less Where's Alex comments.
Ah, don't
I
say
will
that.
say that. I will say that.
Maybe because I do such a good job.
You
for
do such a
filling in
good
for
job.
Alex,
They
and
really
maybe-
don't care about for
Maybe, I don't
Xavier. Yeah, we'll see.
Anyway, as always, a big thank you to the I Love Seville Studios, Jerry for allowing us to have the show, Judah for being the mastermind behind the camera, and definitely a big thank you to our sponsors, Merchant Financial Services, Castle Hill Cider, Matthias Young Realty, Craddock Series Insurance, and Charlottesville Opera. And thank you again to Nick, and I'm going to do the famous closing. Until next time, hasta mañana.
Yeah. Bravo. Mike.